Okay, beta, we are going to start about packaging of DNA helix today. Okay, packaging of DNA helix. Those who were present that day, they know about it. We did this length of DNA. So we are going to start with packaging of DNA helix. Packaging of DNA in eukaryotes and prokaryotes is not the same, beta. Okay. In prokaryotes, it's comparatively very simple. Let me explain it to you. So the topic that we are going to do today is packaging of DNA. And first, we are going to study the packaging in which organisms? Prokaryotes or eukaryotes? Tell me. Packaging in prokaryotes or eukaryotes, beta? Speak out, children. Prokaryotes. It's on your screen. Prokaryotes means the nucleus is not enclosed by a nuclear membrane. See, in prokaryotes, the DNA is not scattered throughout the cell. The entire cell, you will not have DNA scattered. We know that DNA has what charge, positive or negative?
Negative.
DNA has negative charge. So it will be only found in those areas where we have positively charged proteins. Okay? The area where we have positively charged proteins. So ये जो positively charged proteins हैं, they will bind with this negatively charged DNA. बस उसी area में आपको DNA scattered मिलेगा जहाँ पे you have positively charged proteins. So positively charged proteins will bind with the negatively charged DNA. और एक ऐसा structure बन जाता है which is called as nucleoid. What is it called?
Nucleoid.
Yes. It is not called a nucleus because इसके बाहर nuclear membrane is not present. So we are talking about prokaryotes. In prokaryotes, do you find DNA all over the cell? Yes or no?
Yes.
Beta, it is, see, half of the cell they have shown it is not there. Only in half of the cell, the picture makes it very clear that it is not found in the complete cell. Okay? It is found only in those areas where you have positively charged.
Proteins.
Yes, positively charged proteins. And we know that DNA has which charge?
Negative.
Yes, DNA has a negative charge. Now, positively charged proteins, negatively charged DNA, they will bind with each other and they will form this structure. What is the structure called as?
Nucleoid.
Yes, beta, nucleoid. So this is in prokaryotes. Let's talk about eukaryotes. In eukaryotes, again, we have positively charged proteins, which are called histones. Okay, here also we have positively charged proteins, but the organization is a little more systematic in eukaryotes. There are positively charged proteins which are called histones. These histones are basic in nature. Basic, they're not acidic, they're not neutral, they're basic in nature. Okay, because they contain basic amino acid residues. Okay, anything which is made from the remains of an amino acid is the residue. They basically contain two things. These histones, these positively charged proteins contain two things, lysines and arginines. What are the two things they'll contain?
Lysines and arginines.
Yes, lysine and arginine. Now, we are talking about histones. They are positively charged proteins. They contain these amino acids, lysine, arginines. We have basically 8 histones. If you can count over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 histone proteins are there. So that is why this is known as histone octamer. Okay, what is it called? Histone octamer. तो बेटा ये जो circle गोल सा दिख रहा है आपको, this is your histone octamer. And because it is positive in nature and negative is DNA, so DNA wraps around it like this. If you can see this pink thread-like structure, this is your DNA over here. Then this is this structure where DNA wraps like this across this ball-like structure. It is called nucleosome. It is not called a nucleoid here. What is it called? Nucleosome. Nucleosome. And in prokaryotes, it was called? What was it called?
Nucleoid.
Nucleoid. Let's do this. Tell me, what is this big green circle? What proteins are these?
Histone octamer.
Yes, very good. It is histone octamer, which is made up of how many histones? How many histones? This is made up of, you said octamer, 8.
8.
This is positive or negative?
Negative. Positive. Positive.
This is positive. And wrapped around this DNA, what is this charge on DNA?
Negative.
So such a structure is known as,
Histone octamer.
this पूरा वाला बेटा, octamer plus DNA मिला के, what is the structure known as?
Nucleosome.
Nucleosome. So prokaryotes may we find nucleoids. In prokaryotes we have nucleoids, and in eukaryotes we have,
Nucleus.
yes, we have the
Nucleosome.
nucleosome. We have the nucleosome. Okay, see this. If you talk about a nucleosome, this is one nucleosome. It contains 200 base pairs. This can be important for a 1 marker question. How many base pairs in one nucleosome?
200.
200. And we said that the total number of base pairs in humans are 6.6 into 10 to the power 9. And one nucleosome contains 200 base pairs. So let us calculate how many nucleosomes are there. This is the total number of base pairs in the human body. Okay. And one nucleosome contains 200 base pairs. So when we'll solve this, we'll get 3.3 into 10 to the power 7. How many nucleosomes are present in eukaryotes? See the figure. How many nucleosomes? 3.3 into 10 to the power 7. It's very easy. Dekho, this 2 zeros cut with this power. So 10 to the power 9 becomes 10 to the power 7. These 2 zeros are gone. 10 to the power 9 ki jagah, here you have 10 to the power 7. 6.6 divided by 2, you will get 3.3. You don't have to learn this. Simple, you have to remember total number of base pairs in human body is 6.6 into 10 to the power 9. And one nucleosome contains 200 base pairs. So when you have to cancel this, 2 zeros will get cancelled with 9, you will get 7. And 2 divided by 6.6 is 3.3. So in a eukaryote, how many total number of nucleosomes are there?
3.3 into 10 to the power 7.
Yes, 3.3 into 10 to the power 7. These are the number of nucleosomes. Let us talk about the packaging of DNA helix in eukaryotes. These nucleosomes, they constitute the repeating units to form chromatin. All these nucleosomes, they combine together. Okay, they combine together like this, and they form what we call as the chromatin material. What is this material called as?
Chromatin.
Chromatin. Chromatin, you know, is a thread-like body. So nucleosomes in chromatin is equal to beads on a string. See, let's see this. This is your chromatin fiber, this thread-like structure. This thread-like structure is chromatin beta. Is chromatin ke upar you have these beads, moti jaisa, beads-like structures. These are your nucleosomes. That means nucleosomes are found on which fibers? What are these threads called? Chromatin fibers. What are these fibers called?
Chromatin fiber.
Yes. And chromatin fibers where you have these bead-like structures, which are called as, what are these? These are
Nucleosomes.
nucleosomes. And nucleosome, you know only what it is. It's histone octamer and DNA. See beta over here, a clearer picture. This thread is your chromatin fiber. And on the chromatin fiber, these round structures, which you can see. One up, one down, one up, alternate arrangement. These are your nucleosomes. What are these?
Nucleosomes.
Okay, let's see how chromatin is packaged. See this, chromatin is packaged first. Many small chromatin fiber threads come together and make chromatin fibers. First, we'll talk about the first stage. Very, very small chromatin thread-like structures. They will join and form a bigger thread, which is thicker thread, which is known as chromatin fiber. What is it called? Chromatin fiber. बेटा ये बहुत छोटे छोटे थ्रेड्स होते हैं, बहुत पतले और बहुत छोटे. दिस इज क्रोमेटिन. बहुत सारे क्रोमेटिन मिलके एक थिक थ्रेड बना देंगे, लंबा वाला, दैट इज क्रोमेटिन फाइबर. दिस क्रोमेटिन फाइबर विल गेट कॉइल्ड. स्ट्रेट नहीं रहता है, ये ऐसे ऐसे कॉइल हो जाता है. एट विच स्टेज?
Metaphase.
Metaphase. And then these chromatin fibers will convert into chromosomes. Let us do this again. Chromatin, very very small thin thread like structures. बहुत सारे chromatin मिलके we get a longer and a thicker structure which is known as which fiber? Chromatin fiber. What is this fiber called? Chromatin fiber. This fiber becomes coiled. ऐसे करके coil हो जाएगा बेटा. At what stage of cell division? Metaphase stage. And then what is formed is chromosomes. इसका मतलब सबसे पहले chromatin threads, from chromatin threads, chromatin fibers, from chromatin fibers we get chromosomes. Okay, so how are chromosomes made? First, what is the first thing which we have? Small threads, which are known as chromatin threads. They will combine to form which fibers? Chromatin fibers. What are these fibers called, children? See on the screen, what are these fibers? Chromatin fibers. What happens to the chromatin fibers at metaphase stage? Tell me, what happens to these fibers at metaphase stage? Tell me, tell me. They become coiled and condensed. So these chromatin fibers, when they'll become coiled, they will actually form what? What is this? Chromosomes. What will they form? Chromosomes, beta. Now, chromatin has two forms in eukaryotes. Either it is euchromatin or it is heterochromatin. Look here. If the chromatin is loosely packed, if you see these yellow threads over here, very loosely packed, transcriptionally active region of chromatin. But when transcription takes place, this region becomes very active. And most importantly, it stains light. If you transmit or send light on it, it will respond to it. So this area is called as the euchromatin. So how do we have the differences? Euchromatin is loosely packed, and यहाँ पे देखो बेटा chromatin threads very close to each other. So this is densely packed. Okay, this is densely packed. This is the active region. This is the inactive region. This stains light. This stains dark. अगर आप इसको stain करोगे with any color, so dark color will always be taken by which chromatin? Heterochromatin or euchromatin?
Heterochromatin.
Yes. So let us have the three differences between, there are two types of chromatin, euchromatin and heterochromatin. First difference is euchromatin is loosely packed. And what about heterochromatin?
Densely packed.
Yes. This is active region and this is which region?
Inactive.
Yes. This stains light and this stains what color?
Dark color.
Yes, better. See, if you talk about a chromosome, then this is your centromere. Centromere के बिल्कुल पास वाले जो areas हैं, over here, if you see, this is your heterochromatin. This browns वाला part. And ends की तरफ जाते हैं, then we find this chromatin. What is this chromatin called as? Euchromatin. Yes. Euchromatin is this blue one. So ends की तरफ अगर आप chromosome के आ रहे हो, you're going to find euchromatin. And center के पास, centromere के पास, you have this chromatin. What is this chromatin? This is your heterochromatin. Let me take up this part again with you, what I've done today. I was talking from here. Packaging of DNA helix. Do we have DNA everywhere in prokaryotes?
No, ma'am.
Yes, beta, we don't have. We only have it in certain areas. We have positively charged proteins, histone proteins. So histone proteins combined with negatively charged DNA in prokaryotes, and that structure is called
Nucleoid.
very good. It is called nucleoid. Let us talk about the same arrangement in eukaryotes now. Okay. In eukaryotes, we had how many proteins were there? Histone proteins.
8.
8 histone proteins were there. And that histone proteins 8 together, what was it called? That circle we had?
Histone octamer.
Very good. Histone octamer has what charge? Negative or positive?
Positive.
Positive. What is wrapped around it? What is negative? Wala thing? What was wrapped around the octamer?
DNA.
Very good. So in eukaryotes, we have a DNA wrapped around a positively charged histone octamer, and such a structure was known as?
Nucleosome.
Very good. I hope you all know the difference between nucleoid and nucleosome. Nucleoid is found in which organisms? Eukaryotes or prokaryotes? Nucleoids.
Prokaryote.
Very good. And nucleosomes are found in eukaryotes.
Eukaryote.
Let's talk about this. We talked about histone octamer. We talked about this negatively charged particle, this one. A nucleosome contains how many base pairs? One nucleosome. It contains how many base pairs?
200.
200. Very good. And one nucleosome contains how many base pairs?
3.3 into 10 to the power 7.
Yes. So if we have to calculate the number of nucleosomes, just divide them. After division, how many nucleosomes will come? Tell me, what figure will come after dividing? How many nucleosomes in eukaryotes? Abhi we calculated, we had cancelled 2 zeros with 10 to the power 9. What was the figure which was coming?
3.3 into 10 to the power 7.
Yes, 3.3 into 10 to the power 7. It's not difficult. I told you just 2 zeros get cancelled. 2 to the power 7, 2 divided by 6.6 is 3.3. Then I talked about this. Tell me, what is this thread? This blue thread structure which you see, what is it?
Chromatin.
Very good. And what are these pink circular structures?
Nucleosome.
Very good. They are nucleosomes. And let me go further. Yes. First, we have chromatin threads. Then from chromatin threads, what are made?
Chromatin fibers.
Yes, Peter. What is made is chromatin fibers. Now, after chromatin fibers, something happens to these chromatin fibers in metaphase stage. What happens?
Coiling and condensation.
Okay, so after coiling and condensation, what do they become?
Chromosomes.
They become chromosomes. Okay. Let's talk about this packaging. Chromatin is of 2 types. Which 2 types?
Euchromatin and heterochromatin.
Euchromatin and heterochromatin. Which one is loosely packed?
Euchromatin.
Yes, Peter. And let me ask the next one also. Which one is the inactive part?
Heterochromatin.
Heterochromatin. Which is the active region?
Euchromatin.
Very good. Which one stains dark? Which one stains dark? You or hetero?
Hetero.
Heterochromatin. So we have done how many types of chromatin are there, children?
2.
Okay. Should I move further? If this part is clear to everybody, we have understood the difference between a nucleoid and a
Nucleosome.
Yes, nucleoid and a nucleosome. We also calculated the number of nucleosomes, which came to 3.3 into 10 to the power
7.
Yes, beta. Then we talked about two kinds of chromatin, euchromatin and
Heterochrome.
yes. And then we had basically three differences. So we are done with that. Moving on to the next part, search for genetic material. We had certain experiments to prove that which is the genetic material. RNA is genetic, DNA is genetic, proteins are the genetic material. What is the genetic material? So we had a lot of experiments to prove this. The first experiment was done by Frederick Griffith in 1928. Okay, Frederick Griffith. Understand his experiment. Often we have questions from this. He used mice and Streptococcus pneumoniae. He tried his experiment. Okay, Frederick Griffith, he did his experiment on mice. He took this Streptococcus pneumoniae. This is the one which causes pneumonia. Streptococcus pneumoniae has two types of strains. You know what are strains now? Two types. One is the smooth strain and the other is the rough strain. Okay, smooth strain and rough strain. Please see this. This is the S strain. S strain means smooth strain. Why it is smooth? Because it has a coating of mucus around it. Can you see this orange coating? This is the coating of what? Mucus. When he did his experiments, when he when he injected this S strain into the mice, this caused pneumonia. But when we took the other strain of Streptococcus, this one, this is called as a rough strain. Because you see the boundaries are rough because it does not have a coating of what?
Mucus.
Mucus. This did not cause pneumonia. So this is his experiment. Conclusions we are coming to very soon. The first experiment was done by Frederick Griffith. What was the year?
1928.
He did his experiments with mice and which microorganism? Streptococcus pneumoniae. Streptococcus pneumoniae. This causes pneumonia. How many strains are there of Streptococcus?
2.
2. The S strain is called smooth strain because it has a coating of
Mucus.
and it causes pneumonia, so we call it as virulent. There are other strains, are strains which do not have a mucus coating. They do not cause pneumonia, so they are called as, what are they called as? Non-virulent. What do we call them as?
Non-virulent.
Now see what did he do with the experiment. First he took the S strain and injected into the mice and the mouse died. See, he has taken living strain. Which strain he took first? The S strain. And when he took the S strain, what happened to the mouse? It died. Then he injected the R strain. R strain also injected into the mice. If you can see over here, the mice is still living. It did not die. So first case, which strain did he inject?
S strain.
Yes. Did the mice die or not?
Died.
Okay. Then he injected the next strain, that is the R strain. What happened to the mice in this case? Did they die?
No, ma'am.
Then he said, okay, let me do something with this R strain. He heated, first he took this S strain. He heated first this strain. Which strain? S strain. He heated it. And then he injected it into a mice. Then the mice did not die. Earlier, without heating, when S strain was injected, the mice died. But when the S strain was heated and then injected into a mice, the mice did not die. Okay, now let's see this. Now he tried to mix both the strains. This heated S strain and the normal R strain, he injected into the mice and the mice died. Very strange. Although separately, when you take this heated S strain, the mice is not dying. R strain, the mice is not dying. But when you mix both of them, what happened to the mice?
It died.
Yes, beta. Let us do the experiment. We are doing Griffith's experiment. It is very important. We have many questions from this. What are the two strains he took?
R and S strain.
Yes, R strains and S strains. R strain is called rough strain because it does not contain a coating of
Mucus.
mucus. Very good. And S strain is called a smooth strain because it has a coating of
Mucus.
Yes. Now we are doing Frederick's experiment. First, which strain did he inject into the mice?
S strain.
S strain. Did the mice die or did it live?
Died.
It died. After S strain, which strain did he inject?
R strain.
R strain. What happened to the mice? Did it die or did it live?
It lived.
Yes. Then he heated one of the strains. Which strain?
S strain.
Yes. And again he injected it into the mice. In the first case, when he did not heat and he injected the S strain, the mice died. But when he heated and injected, then what happened? Tell me what happened. Now, when he is heating, did the mice die or did it remain alive? Heated S strain.
Remained alive.
Now he mixed the heated S strain and the R strain together, and then what happened to the mice?
It died.
It died. It was something surprising for Griffith because he thought that R strain से तो mice का death नहीं होता है. Similarly, heated S strain से भी mice का death नहीं हुआ. But when he combines these two strains, the mice died. So he talked about a rule or a principle which is transforming principle. Transforming principle is what? Now, what are his conclusions? He said that there was something which was transformed from the heat killed. ये देखो बेटा, R strain से तो mice does not die. So he says there was something which was transferred from this S strain to the R strain. Okay? What something which was transformed from which strain? The heat killed S strain to which strain?
R strain.
R strain. Because of which R strain also, the rough strain also got a coating of mucus. R strain also got a coating of mucus. देखो बेटा ये R strain में mucus coating होता है?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. And it does not cause pneumonia. जिसमें mucus coating होगी वो pneumonia cause करेगा, जिसमें नहीं होगी वो नहीं करेगा. बट एस हीट्स वाला जो एस स्ट्रेन था उसने कुछ ऐसा यहाँ पे ट्रांसफर कर दिया दैट आर स्ट्रेन के आसपास म्यूकस का कोटिंग बन गया. ना म्यूकस कोटिंग बन गया, दैट मीन्स नाउ दिस कैन आल्सो कॉज pneumonia because once we have a mucus coating, pneumonia is possible. So he said there was something which was transformed from the heat killed S strain to the R strain, and because of this the R strain got that coat of mucus and it became virulent. And this thing, that the thing which was transformed is the genetic material. What was transformed? It was the genetic material. So what did he say? Something was transformed from which strain? Heat killed? Which one? Heat killed?
S strain.
S strain. And that thing which was transferred to the R strain, because of that, this R strain also developed a coating of mucus and it became virulent. So it caused pneumonia in the mice and the mice died. जब हमने दोनों को mix किया था, so why did this die? Something was transferred from this to this. And he said, ये जो चीज transfer हुई है, this is actually the genetic material, and this principle is known as the transforming principle. What is this principle called?
Transforming principle.
The first experiment done to find out the genetic material was done by Frederick. Name him.
Griffith.
Okay, let's quickly revise this experiment. Frederick Griffith. He took two strains of Streptococcus pneumoniae, R strain and
S strain.
very good. R strain means
Non-virulent.
very good. Rough strain, does it contain a coating of mucus?
No, ma'am.
And the S strain contains what we call as a coating of smooth coating of mucus around it. Which one causes pneumonia? Smooth one or rough one?
Smooth.
Yes. So first he took a mice. Which strain did he inject?
S strain.
S strain. Did the mice die?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And then he injected the second strain. That was which one? R strain. In this case, did the mice die?
No, ma'am.
It did not die. And then he heat killed the S strain. What happened in the, why do you think the heat killed S strain did not cause pneumonia? Can you think?
Because the coating of mucus would be removed.
Very good, very good. So the heat killed S strain did not cause this pneumonia. Then he mixed both the strains, R strain and
S strain.
yes, the heat coated S strain. Did the mice die?
Yes, ma'am.
So this principle which he came up with is known as which principle?
Transforming principle.
Very good. He said there was something which was transferred from the S strain to the R strain, because of which the R strain also developed a coating of mucus around it. And because of this, what is happening? Tell me. Because of this, what had happened? Tushar. Is there any Tushar in your class?
No, ma'am.
I wonder who is this child. So we were talking about this. First experiment that we've done is this one, bache. This, which because of which, and he said this thing which was transferred is actually which, what is it? It is the genetic material. What is this material?
Genetic material.
So the first experiment for the search of genetic material is Griffith's transforming principle. What is this principle called as?
Griffith's transforming principle.
Because it was given by Frederick.
Griffith.
Very good, Frederick Griffith. And because you talked about a transformation, so that is why we also call it as a Frederick Griffith's transforming principle. Beta, basically, now we have one more experiment. Second experiment was done by Oswald, Everett, Colin, MacLeod, and McCarthy. In short, we call it as Oswald, MacLeod, and McCarthy experiment. Oswald, MacLeod, and McCarthy experiment. This is the second experiment which was done. We are basically trying to find out more about the genetic material, beta. Okay, we are going to find out about genetic material. Let's see this. What did they do? They just wanted to check this transforming principle in Griffith experiment. Ki hota kya hai ye? He said there is a transforming principle. They just wanted to find out your transforming principle kya hota hai. So what did they do? They purified biochemicals. They took three things: proteins, DNA, RNA, from heat-killed S cells. From the heat-killed cells, S strain. Which strain?
S strain.
Yeah, the heat-killed one. They took three things: protein, DNA, and RNA. They wanted to find out that which one was the genetic material. Was it proteins, was it DNA, or was it RNA? Griffith to itna bata ke chale gaye that this material is being transferred. So when they checked in the material, there were three things which were present: proteins, DNA, and RNA. Now they were again confused that out of these proteins, DNA, and RNA, which one is the genetic material? They wanted to find out that which one is the genetic material out of three things. Which three things?
Proteins, RNA, and DNA.
Yes. Okay. Now they just wanted to find out about this, that which one is the actual genetic material. How are they going to find out? Anshika, 4 minutes are left for this class to get over, dear. Anshika, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
There are just 4 minutes left for this class to get over. I posted the link for the next class. Where were you?
Ma'am, actually, my net was gone, so I did not get the link on the group. And as I just got the link and came. Sorry, ma'am.
And you did not get the link only.
Yes,
We're doing
ma'am.
such an important
Just got
chapter. Very strange. We are doing such an important chapter, and that is why that day I decided to lock the meeting. I said I will not allow anybody after 5 minutes. Whatsoever happens, automatically I'm going to lock it. Anyways, we have another class after break. So we are going to find out, since she has joined us, let us start with her again from here, second experiment. We are trying to find out what is the genetic material. Okay, Anshika, you joined us late. Listen, we are trying to find out what is the genetic material. We have three options: proteins, DNA, and RNA. Is it okay? What are the three options we have? Proteins, DNA, and
DNA and RNA.
we are just going to find out which is the genetic material. What did they do? They used special enzymes, proteases and RNases. What are the enzymes used? See over here, we take this heat-killed S train. I'll tell you about heat-killed S train once you join again. Others know about it. And we remove two things from it, lipids and carbohydrates. Now only three things are left: proteins, DNA, and RNA. We add proteases. Which enzyme is added to this first?
Proteases.
And then we add RNases, and then we add DNases. Let us find out about these enzymes, more about it. See, those enzymes which will digest proteins, they are called proteases. Those which will digest RNAs, they are known as RNases. Tushar Singh, there is no Tushar Singh as far as I know in 11th biology. Some child by who's wanting to join by name of Tushar Singh. Anyone knows? Anybody's brother, father? But I'm not
No,
admitting. I'm not admitting
No,
the child who leave it there. So proteases, okay, look here, proteases. For RNA, we'll use RNases, and for DNA, we're going to use DNA. Let's do this. Digestion of DNA with DNase over here. See, when we caused proteases, and we saw that S cells still appear. S cells did not disappear. Okay, Anshika does not know, but I'll tell her again once she joins again. When we added RNases, again, we saw that S cells still appear. But when we added DNases, S cells were not appearing. S cells did not appear. So no transformation has taken place over here. And what has occurred over here is transformation. Which one is the real genetic material according to this experiment? Proteins, RNA, or DNA?
DNA.
I'll explain it.
DNA.
S cells are there, we added R cells. When we add R cells with S cells, पिछले experiment में करा था, what should happen? What should happen? Virulent होगा, नहीं होगा? S and R together.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So S cells are still appearing, they are not dying. यानी R cells का कोई effect आया ही नहीं S cell के ऊपर. R cell से कुछ भी transform होके S cell में गया ही नहीं. अगर चला गया होता तो S cell dead हो गया होता. Because R cells are virulent. They cause pneumonia. अब इसमें देखते हैं. Here also, when we transformed R cells, S cell अभी भी है. कुछ भी transfer नहीं हुआ from R cells to S cells in the presence of RNases. But when we add DNases, this S cell disappeared. On adding which cells?
R cells.
That means something was transformed from the R cells into the S cells, which cause